everyone, and welcome to the Pinnacle Journey, where we bring to you transformational and inspiring stories of incredible individuals. Today's episode promises to be of immense value. So, if you're into leadership, healthcare, or a gender equality advocate, we hope that by the end of today's session, you walk away feeling inspired. Stick around, there's a whole lot more to come. My name is Favour Santuanunu, and I'll be your host for today's episode. Allow me to mention that this program is proudly brought to you by Molex Foundation Africa. We are also sponsored by Expert Innovation Company and AD Consult. So, on today's episode, we have with me a truly inspiring guest. She's into healthcare, she's an ENT specialist, and she's also passionate about gender equality and empowering more girls into the field of STEM. She currently serves at the Military Hospital at Accra, Ghana, and she chairs the board of Molex Foundation Africa. Before I introduce you to her, we'll go for a quick commercial break. When we come back, you'll get to meet her, so stay tuned. Welcome back from that commercial break, and thank you for staying tuned. Before the break, I introduced you to Captain, who is going to be our guest for today. But if you want to know, we are live here at Enamal Hotel at the Castle New Market Road opposite Benap Oil. Captain,
hello.
How are you doing?
I'm blessed.
I'm so glad to have you join us today.
Same here.
And I'm sure our viewers are also excited to have you join us.
Okay.
Yeah, amazing. Before we went to the break, I introduced them to who you are as a person, and we got to know how you got into the healthcare field. So could you share a little bit about what drew you into the healthcare field? Why healthcare?
Okay. As a kid growing up from a village, I was born and bred in the village, and our place is more of farming. Okay. I had an auntie, Mrs. Sarah Brown. She was a nurse, and she's on retirement currently. So she was a nurse then, and from a village, when she comes home, maybe holidays or a free time, I look up to her like, I want to be like her in the near future. But when I look around, I didn't like teaching. Okay, my mom was into the teaching, my daddy too was in the educational field. But when I look at her, I say like, oh, I want to be like her. So growing up, anybody who had an encounter with me, even from JSS, who asked me, what do you want to be in the future?
Yeah.
I'll tell you, I want to be a nurse. And so one day, one of my teachers said, you said it and you made. I said, yes, that's what I wanted to do. That's why I kept telling you people about it. And God being so good, I was able to, by the grace of God, able to strive harder and then get to where I've always wanted to be.
Wow,
Yeah.
that's actually inspiring.
Yeah.
But do you think where you were brought up actually contributed to your aspirations?
Yes.
We got to know that you were brought up in Yamfeko Ikofo. So do you think your formative experiences had a role to play in who you are today?
Yes, because even as currently as we are talking, we don't even have a hospital in our place. We only have small cheap compound, and that is serving about 5 communities. Kayedu, Ikrofo, Danukrom, and we see Abodintra, a lot. More
Just to ask, how the population of the communities is about how many?
Oh, it'd be like 1,000.
1,000 per community. You have just 175 of these communities.
And some people even have to travel far. We are fortunate; it's not far from our place, because I believe maybe our community people advocated, and then they located a center point, and we were fortunate to be around that center point, and so we have the cheap compound currently. So I saw that people have to, or myself, even when I was sick, my mom would struggle. We had just have to go and see one psychiatric nurse in the community to give us first aid. At times it was not really ending well, but you have to get the first aid before you proceed to the higher place, like Abroad, the district hospital or Nyamwansa, some private hospital or Cape Coast. So I was like, then we need more people like this man, even in the community. So if even we don't have the hospital, we can provide a first aid service to our people so that we can preserve life. So that also motivated me to enter into that profession.
The field of healthcare.
Yes.
Wow.
As a nurse.
That's very amazing. I'm just amazed that even till up in this moment, this current day, we still have lack of hospitals or communities like this.
Not even health center, even if cheap compound for even each community. But this time, even our place, not a community, it's communities accessing the cheap compound.
Wow. And so, well, that's actually quite amazing. But I want to know, even with all these, you have achieved a lot when it comes to healthcare. You pursued nursing at Cape Coast Nursing and Midwifery Training School. Then you specialized in ENT at Confanoche Teaching Hospital. So with all this milestone, what inspired you to achieve all this milestone? Were there any particular inspiration with regards to that?
Okay, so like I said, why I preferred being a nurse or from my background and the people I look up to. But when I entered into the nursing, you know, I was coming from the village. We met people from Accra, Kumasi, and
you're coming from Cape Coast, a village in Cape Coast.
And I even had issue of inferiority complex because of the expression. We're coming from a place where we were not taught with English. At the time we asked ourselves, how do we even learn how to speak this English? I'm telling you. So we were a little bit timid. So we started the journey, and then we do something like we call anatomy and physiology. So anatomy 3 was all about special organs. So we do the ear, the eye, and those things. And that was our last anatomy 3. It was tough. So one of the topics that we were to write or we examined on was the ear. And we really didn't pay attention on that organ because it was a presentation done by some midwifery students. But when we went to the exams, we realized that it's the ear that draw the cochlea and describe. And the marks was huge. And everybody was familiar. Everybody was like, and say, God, help me. If I pass these exams, I want to learn more about this organ.
Wow.
And to the glory of God, I wasn't a first class, like a best student, but I never had something like referral in my life. Like I didn't have a referral. I was able to get my grade. So after, I was done with my training. I also passed by the grace of straight. I didn't also have a referral. So when I served for some time, like 3-4 years, I said, I want to specialize.
Okay.
And then when I even bought forms, I bought 2 forms. I bought one from UCC to go and do BSc General Nursing. Then I bought one from ENT. And then ENT came. Even UCC came first. I was given, at this year, like I had everything planned. And so, I want to specialize. But ENT delayed. So I waited for some time. And then God being so good, I had the admission. I said, no. When I even look at the fees and everything, I realized that ENT was like twice the fees of UCC. So it's like, hey, God. And I said, no, I want to specialize. I want to go. Even if I don't have a salary, I can go for loan because I was working. Add up to my saved money I had already gathered. Then I went to ENT and I went to specialize. So I realized that no, I needed to learn more about this organ because it looks like it's an organ that even when you come to health sector, only few people, enter into it. So it's not well known like I.
And females.
Yes. Even currently, as I'm speaking, when you come to my department at 37 Military Hospital, we have ENT nurses there, but I'm the only female ENT officer. I have officers, but only female nurse or specialists at my department. Even though I have soldiers who are female, and when it comes to the officer corps, and so now I'm the only female among the officer nurses at the department.
Wow.
So it's a specialty. Even we have few doctors on the field, So when you know somebody, you ask about ENT, they tell you there are few.
Yeah.
There are few.
Yeah.
There are not many. A lot of hospitals don't even have that specialty.
Wow.
So I realized, oh, okay, let me try that one, because I want a place where we are few, so that it will ginger you or to inspire you to even strive harder to get to somewhere. So I decided to go into that field of ear, nose, and throat specialty.
That's actually very incredible. And we got to know that you transitioned into the Ghana Armed Forces. That's a whole terrain on its own, the military zone and all that. So when you transitioned to the Ghana Armed Forces, did you have any expectations for the role you're going to take up over there? And if I may, how did this role, or how did your expectation align with those of being an ENT specialist? How did they align?
Okay.
Yeah.
I won't talk much about the military, because I am not permitted to talk a lot about military. But after I specialized, I was working at Cape Coast in a room polyclinic. Then I remember one time I told Doc that after special I want to join the military, but we have here and say you have to know somebody, you have to pay your way through and those things. I didn't have anybody say God, it's only God. Then Doc even encouraged me that go. So I bought the forms. And then I enlisted, or I went in as a nurse specialist, because when the forms comes, they have categories and eligibility. So you look at for where you fit, and you look at your qualification, your age, and then you do application. So God being so good, I went through the procedure and I realized, oh, okay, I can go in with my qualification as a year to the nurse. So even though I was going for the military training, I was entering with the profession. So I believe that when whatever happens, when I'm done with the training, I am going to work as ear, nose, and throat nurse, and not in. Even though when you enter, you have other aligned responsibility, you are going to perform as an officer of the Ghana Armed Forces. But core mandate is I was employed as ear, nose, and throat nurse. Yes, so I realized that I'm not going to do anything so different from what I'm doing currently as an ear, nose, and throat nurse. So let me try. And me transitioning into that area, the only thing I realized that I left Ghana Health Service or Ministry of Health, Controller and Accountant General, but I went to the Defense, Ministry of Defense, and that is the difference. But whatever service I'm rendering is like those time on the civil street. Just that with the military, it's more of discipline. You have to be a little cautious, and so if you are practicing well on the civil streets, when you enter there, I think it's just more of position yourself well and then render your service to the people. And then it's both civilians and then the uniform personnel. Our place is open to all. It's not only for the military, it's for everyone.
That's quite inclusive.
Yeah.
That's quite inclusive. Thank you so much, Captain. At this point, we're going to go for a quick commercial break, and when we come back, we're going to look at Captain's work with Molex. Stay tuned.